Hello everyone and welcome to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully all of you are having a fantastic day wherever you are around the world, and welcome to our match reaction to Liverpool's 2-1 victory over West Ham, which moves the Reds top of the Premier League table thanks to Diogo Jota's goal. Man, is he in form, and man, is that what champions do. The champions win tough games just by the skin of their teeth. Well, we did it last year. We did it so many times last year, and yet another win for these mentality monsters, the mentality giants that are Liverpool Football Club. And what a win tonight was, because now that puts a statement down to know, even though Liverpool can play terribly, even though going forward we can play terribly, we can still win games, and that is what champions do, as we do know from last season as well. But as always, guys, if you could please do me the massive favor and please give the video a like. It's massively appreciated if you could do so. Also as well, if you're new to the Cup Council and watching us for the first time, then please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to enable notifications. But let's say hello to a few of you guys as well, and please do let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section down below about everything that happened in the game. Let me know your thoughts on man of the match as well. Please do let me know everything in the comment section down below. But Chris is in saying, hi pal, hope you're well. Hope you're well as well. Chris says, another mentality monster when Jota has Jota start instead. Well, better Jota start instead of Firmino. Firmino is out of form. Shaqiri should start too as well. He's the playmaker in our team without Thiago and Nat Phillips, man of the match. Yeah, Nat Phillips. We will talk about Nat Phillips tonight. Absolutely fantastic performance from him. Excuse me, as well. Downton Abbey's in as well. Fantastic win for us. Top of the league. Yes, we are top of the league. I had to put it in the title, of course. Liverpool top of the league. It might be for only 24 hours, you know, with Everton playing, I think, tomorrow. But still, you know, who cares? Who the bloody hell cares? Liverpool back atop of the Premier League table where we belong. Seamus Morrison saying well deserved man of the match performance by Nat Phillips. Absolutely cannot agree anymore with that. Chris says, how can VAR disallow that goal? I just don't know anymore about VAR. We will talk about the VAR decision. I have my thoughts and my opinions on that whole situation. Anyway, Seamus says, well, Jota, the signing of the summer. Personally, I would give that to Thiago, just, you know, transfer wise in terms of price, but I'd have to agree. I think he is absolutely fantastic. Remember when all of us were like 41 million rising up to 45? Is it a bit of a risk? Yeah, it was a bit of a risk, but it's paid off. You know, like Jota's fantastic. You know, I think we all love him, and I think he deserves to start now for Liverpool for sure. And like I did say, I think it was the match reaction to Midtjylland. He is undroppable in my personal opinion. Diogo Jota is undroppable. Jeannie says, evening corner, Liverpool 2, the Premier League 1. The Reds are top of the league. Yeah, absolutely, Jeannie, absolutely. So let's get in then to looking at the starting 11, the lineup that was today. This was the starting 11, and I think all of us was pretty much shocked to see Nat Phillips' name. I know that all of us were probably expecting Reece Williams to start, of course, but Klopp decided to go with Nat Phillips. Obviously, there you go. Alisson, Trent, Nat Phillips, Joe Gomez, Andy Robertson, Jordan Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, Curtis Jones as well. Of course, it did, well, according to reports anyway today, we did say this on Twitter as well. It looked like Thiago was going to be fit and available, but it just seems that this game was a bit too short in terms of that. Anyway, and then obviously then the front three, Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, and Bobby Firmino as well. But you know, let's talk a little bit about this guy. You know, Nat Phillips. As you can see, that's Klopp after the game with Nat Phillips. Anyway, absolutely fantastic performance by him. Obviously a big ask to fill, because of course that is his first game of the season. Yes, he played in pre-season against Stuttgart, the team that he did play for last season, you know, in the Bundesliga 2. But apparently, well, according to, I believe it was Transfer Market, you know, he was the most highly rated central defender in Bundesliga 2, which is apparently a good sign. You know, so that's fantastic in many respects. And, you know, James Pearce also tweeted out as well, you know, maybe the potential reason why Klopp did pick Nat Phillips. Reece Williams is registered to play in the Champions League. Nat Phillips is not. So maybe that might be it now. Maybe you might have Reece Williams in the Champions League and then have Nat Phillips in the Premier League. Or maybe, you know, if Nat Phillips impresses even more, or maybe Klopp thinks, you know, that partnership between Nat Phillips and Joe Gomez should become, you know, more of a thing, then I think then that's the possibility. Of course, you know, next weekend we do have Manchester City. So I think people are going to want the likes of Joel Matip to be back at least. But I still think that, you know, Reece Williams, he's done a fantastic job coming in. Nat Phillips today, absolutely fantastic job. Joe Gomez as well, apart from one occasion, you know, I thought had a very good game. But, you know, we'll talk about everything a little bit later on as well. But guys, please do let me know your thoughts about Nat Phillips as well. Do you think he will start in midweek in the Champions League? It'd be very talked about, I think, from now until you know, we play against Atlanta. So, you know, it's going to be interesting anyway. Downton says Thiago has the star status, but really Jota has been phenomenal. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Jota's been absolutely superb, in my opinion. Seema says it shows how good Liverpool are coaches or coaching. Every player is ready to come in when needed. Yeah, absolutely, couldn't agree more. Jeannie says the genuine surprised me. I am glad he stuck around. I think that was with Nat Phillips. Yeah, I think it shocked a lot of people. It shocked me. You know, I personally thought Reece Williams was going to start this game. I thought he was the best person to, you know, obviously play along Joe Gomez because he had done it, you know, with Ajax, well, against Ajax, sorry, he did it against Midtjylland for 70 minutes. So, you know, he was there, he was fit and available. But I think that what James Pearce did say about, you know, the Champions League and Nat Phillips not being registered and, you know, Reece Williams is registered, then I think that shows, you know, Klopp's mentality realistically, you know, I don't think any of us expected to be one centre back, you know, during the season. You know, we didn't. I think we expected, you know, Virgil to still be available, Joel Matip to be back, and things like this. But I know a lot of people now are frustrated with Joel Matip, and I can personally see why. But I think when Joel Matip is fit and available, he automatically comes in without a shadow of a doubt. So hopefully he can be back for Atlanta, maybe Manchester City. I would like him to be back for Atlanta because then that would give him game time to face Man City. But, you know, with Matip, you know, he plays one game and then gets injured then and doesn't play the next 3 or 4 matches. So, you know, it will be interesting anyway, for sure. But if I quickly have a look, I haven't set up Twitter, so okay, that's bad on me anyway. But guys, please do let me know as well. Any other shouts for man of the match, or are you just saying, you know, Jota, Shaqiri, Nat Phillips? For me, well, I did put out on Twitter, if I quickly find it for you guys, because I'm an idiot and I didn't set this up beforehand. It was just one mad rush. But yeah, if I quickly head that, and then we go here. Right, so as you can see on screen right now, anyway, actually no, I'll save that. I'll save it. You know, we'll check that in a little bit. But yeah, so practically, I want to talk about this man, Diogo Jota. Now, for me, he is just undroppable at the moment. I cannot see Liverpool playing any more games with him being on the bench. He is just superb, and let's not forget about this neither. You know, he scores 2 goals in 10 minutes. And I know that some people will be like, oh, well, that should be normal from like a super sub. But yeah, but at the end of the day, he scored 2 goals. If it wasn't for VAR, that we will talk about in a little bit, I kind of want to a little bit talk about West Ham's goal to begin with. But, you know, just having that impact, you know, coming on straight away is absolutely superb. And that is what I personally think Liverpool have missed over the last season, maybe season and a half, you know, maybe where you know, Origi has come on and made the difference. But then apart from Origi, who else? Shaqiri. But then Shaqiri's been involved with the first team in that, so when he's not on the bench and he's starting, you know, who else is there to come on? And I think that is realistically where, you know, Liverpool have added to the squad, and, you know, again, have added points to the board. You know, at the end, well, we, from that Villa game, we've played terribly going forward, but we're still getting wins and we're still scoring goals. So it is absolutely fantastic at the moment anyway for us. Chris says, I like everything I seen from Phillips today. No nonsense defending. Yeah, absolutely fantastic from Nat Phillips, of course. Jeannie says, man of the match, Trent, in his opinion. I think a lot of people are with you on that. Seema says Shaqiri was a close second for man of the match. For me, Jota up there as well, but can't deny Nat Phillips after that performance. No, you can't. Well, Jamie Carragher especially was criticising Haller, the West Ham striker, about not, winning enough aerial duels. I think, Nat Phillips made him look bad tonight. And that, for me, is a sign of a great defender and a great person in the air. Now, we all know that, obviously the gap is left there by Virgil van Dijk. And normally, if Van Dijk is out, then, Matip is very good in the air. And I think Matip has like a 90% aerial duel success rate. And I think Nat Phillips, I think he got 6 out of 7 tonight, or 6 out of 8. So there is, it's very good in that aspect of things, and that is what they wanted to do tonight. They wanted to get the ball in the air. They wanted to attack us in the air. And to be fair to Nat Phillips, he did absolutely fantastic. And you think about it now, and really, I didn't really think about this, but when Liverpool played Everton last season in the FA Cup, when we were playing the kids, really. And, the centre-back partnership in that was Joe Gomez and Nat Phillips. And, we all praised it back then, keeping a clean sheet against, a fully strength Everton side, and a Carlo Ancelotti Everton side as well at that time. So, there wasn't, I don't think many people thought of that. But then again today, apart from that goal, I thought the defense was fantastic. And talking about West Ham's goal, I personally don't think you can blame it on one particular player. I think you can blame it on 3 players in particular, but I don't think you can blame it just on one. And I wouldn't really say you can, solely punch it on the 3 players that I'm about to mention. But I think that, it's a bad team goal to concede, in my personal opinion, because I think that Curtis Jones as well. Curtis Jones, of course, getting the start tonight in midfield. I think that, I don't know what it was with him tonight. I think it was just not so much the occasion, but I think it is the lack of game time. But then, he was the same against, Ajax in the Champions League last week. Wasn't really getting used to that 4-3-3, because at the minute Liverpool are playing kind of like 2 holding midfielders, and then the third one then can go wherever he likes and free roam around, between midfield and attack. And that what was Curtis Jones, doing tonight. And I just think it didn't work, and especially for the first goal for West Ham anyway. He doesn't pressure enough. He just lays back off the defender. The defender crosses it in. Joe Gomez, like I said, I thought he had a fantastic game apart from one occasion, and that was the West Ham goal, where I don't know why he heads it down. I don't know why he just doesn't boot it away or chests it and then, passes it to Robbo or something like that. Poor header away. And then, Fornals shoots it, and Alisson, for me, should have saved it. Maybe he was a bit unsighted with the goal, but I think Ali needs to do a lot better there. We had, Owen, last week was on the channel from the Cop On podcast, and he was talking about Alisson's stats, and that had me thinking of that, because of course Owen is kind of like not whisperer, but like, you know what I mean. He's like, he says something and then it happens. He said Fabinho would be playing centre back this season. It's happening right now when he's fit. So he was talking a little bit about Alisson's success, the save success rate, and for me, he should have saved it. I don't know if any of you guys are like that neither, but for me, I think Alisson is better than that, and I think he could have saved it, in my personal opinion. So it's not mainly them 3 fault. I do think it's a bad team goal overall, but I think maybe if Curtis Jones maybe pressed a bit more, if Joe Gomez had booted it away instead of headering it, I think Ali should have saved it, in my personal opinion. But guys, let me know your thoughts anyway in the comment section down below. Chris says Diogo Jota is Portugal's best player apart from Cristiano Ronaldo. Fact. Yeah, I think that's true. Downton Abbey says Phillips was man of the match for me. For me, he's man of the match. Obviously, if I quickly get it on screen for you guys right now, I did put out a poll on Twitter, as we always try and do, to get your guys' thoughts and opinions, of course, before we come on the show. And you guys voted for Nat Phillips with 60.7% going with Nat Phillips. Diogo Jota in second place, to be fair, with 32.1%. well, yeah, 32.1. Trent, I thought Trent was probably third. Maybe people would put in Shearer and Shaqiri. Shaqiri was fourth for me, but I like to give the option, either leave a comment. And Chris, as Chris can see, I will favour that. Says Phillips, Jota and Shaqiri. Shaqiri was my fourth pick. I just want to say that right now, but I like to give people the option just in case, they personally thought, and let me get that down because that has some secrets in there. But yeah, personally, I thought that, them three were the main people for man of the match anyway, in my personal opinion. But yeah, like it's good to have, that fact and that like debate, who is man of the match, because I personally thought it was a very bad attacking performance yet again, and that's been that now for 3 games in a row. And I don't know what's wrong with Liverpool. I think that teams now have figured out how we play, and I think this is why we bought the likes of Thiago Alcantara, because it's not only, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson, when Thiago plays as well, you have the threat of Thiago putting the through balls in. Jordan Henderson as well, I thought he had a good game as well tonight. Played a phenomenal ball. I believe it was to Andy Robertson, and he takes it in and just slots it in the middle. And if it wasn't for Fabianski, Liverpool would have scored there and then. So it is a little bit of, but I think Liverpool need to become unpredictable again, if that makes sense, because I think people are starting to suss, our gameplay and know what we're gonna do. So, but look, at the end of the day, David Moyes leaves, Anfield yet again without a win. He's never won at Anfield. He'll never win at Anfield as long as Klopp is here. So, that is fantastic. To be fair, where we buy. Chris says, yeah, looking back at it now, Alisson should do better. Yeah, in my opinion, I think he should have done a little bit better. Maybe, like I said, maybe he was a bit unsighted, but for me personally, I do think Ali should have done a bit better for the goal. Anyway, oh, excuse me. Ginny says, I don't like to critique players when we win, but West Ham's goal is on Gomez for me. I can definitely see that. I don't particularly think that it was one certain player. Like I said, I believe it was 3. Well, I believe it was a team goal, but I do believe it was 3 in particular. And I said Curtis Jones should have closed down enough for me. He lays off. He tries to go with a play, I think, that's overrunning, and Trent's already there, so there was no need for him to do it. He could have just run, and forced the pressure. But yeah, I wouldn't blame it too much on Joe Gomez. Chris says, I feel it was a bad attacking performance till Shaq and Jota come on. Yes, I would personally agree with that as well. I think that there was, that unpredictable play, and them two brought it in. Shaqiri, for me, I know there was the talk of Liverpool trying to get rid of him, or going to get rid of him, during the end of the transfer window. But for me, I just think that he is so good. And if Liverpool go on to play 4-2-3-1, which I think we will do from now on, I think Liverpool are going to do it. The normality is 4-3-3, but I think to be a bit more unpredictable, 4-2-3-1, I think is the way forward. And if you play both Shaq and you play Diogo Jota as well, them two are going to be very creative in that aspect as well. And realistically as well, when we think about it, Jota, he hasn't learned Liverpool's way of things yet, if that makes sense, because yes, he's done good stuff with Wolves. Yes, Wolves play a similar system to Liverpool, but they don't play Liverpool system. And that is what, we've seen the players like Fabinho, we've seen Andy Robertson, we've seen other players as well having the opportunity of 4 or 5 months, to break into the team and to try and, learn Klopp's side of things. And Jota, he's just been thrown in there, when needed, and he's done absolutely superb. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I personally think Jota is undroppable right now, and I think he will surely start against Atlanta and Manchester City. Whether or not, Klopp goes 4-2-3-1 against Man City, that's a whole other question that we will talk about, more towards the Man City game. But for right here, right now, looking at that Atlanta game, for me, he is undroppable, and for me, he starts against that game, for that game, sorry. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. If he was to drop anyone, does he drop Bobby Firmino? I know a lot of people want Bobby dropped. I think Liverpool are different without Bobby Firmino. But then in saying that, when Bobby went off tonight, the game changed, and it changed for the better. So maybe it's time. Maybe it is time Bobby is taking off, and maybe either Mane or Salah is played in the middle, and then Jota on the left with either Mane or Salah on the right. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Kale says England on lockdown, but Premier League games are still going ahead. That is true. England are going back into a lockdown. Wales are already in a lockdown, so I'm already inside. But yeah, that is true. Premier League games will not be stopped, even though the nation's been in lockdown. So who the hell knows? Tory government. That's not talking about politics. Jackson, get in, La. Absolutely, mate. Get in. It says what a win as well. Yeah, what an absolutely fantastic win for the Reds. I agree. We need to be unpredictable again. Yeah, I think we do as well. I think that is what Liverpool should be doing. Is starting to go back to unpredictability, and I think that when everyone is back, when Naby's back, because Naby didn't play as well today, I don't know what is happening with him. I believe that he's trying to get back up to fitness. We don't know if he had COVID or not. I don't think he did, but who knows? I don't know. But yeah, look, Keita will be back. Matip will be back. Thiago will be back. So there's plenty of people to come back and change Liverpool's style of things. Then realistically, Jack says David Moyes is a genius or football genius, as many people said. Yeah, he is a predictable character, but no, David Moyes is a genius. Of course he is. But to be fair, we would have said anyway. Of course, there wasn't a match preview show yesterday. Sorry for that. I wasn't feeling all that good yesterday, so yeah, was kind of that was putting off really late, so apologies for that. But what I was going to say yesterday, fair play to West Ham and fair play to them in this game as well. They took us to literally the end of the match to to practically take us there and give us a good game. But again, that's what champions do. We grind out results, we win the match very, very close, and we go and we get 3 points. And that is what teams do, and that is what champions do. At the end of the season, we will look back at this result and say if we win the league by, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 points, we'll look back at that game and think, that is what we did to become champions. Excuse me. But yeah, that's what we did to become champions, and I think that is crucial. In a season, of course. But Kale asks, any update on VVD and Henderson? Henderson's fit, Kale, so I don't know what you mean by there. Henderson obviously played. Virgil, he had successive surgery yesterday. That's obviously what we're going to bring to you yesterday. He had successful surgery on his ACL, but Liverpool, no time frame. Absolutely none time frame for Liverpool to say when Virgil's coming back. Hopefully it will be in 7 months' time. That is the earliest he can come back. The longest could be an entire year. So who knows? Hopefully he has a speedy and a successful recovery as well. Chris say if we play 4-2-3-1, then we should start Shaqiri and Jota. I would agree. Potentially we could play against Atlanta and see what happens, but it will be very interesting as well. Chris says, I remember when we played 4-2-3-1 a few times in 18-19 season. That was when Shaqiri was starting, and it worked when Shaqiri was playing that cam role. Yeah, I think we can play 4-2-3-1 against low block sides like your Sheffields, like your West Hams, like your Burnleys, Fulhams, and all like that. Maybe it doesn't work against your likes of Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and other people as well. Maybe the 4-3-3 is better, but it's good that Klopp has that availability to him and being able to go and try something, and if it doesn't work, you got another system to go to. Because if you look at teams like Chelsea, for example, that have about 6 systems, 1 minute they're playing 5 at the back, then they're playing 3 at the back, then they're playing 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-5-1. Chelsea have so many systems, that it's probably confusing to the players. But then for Liverpool, it's too simple. You either go 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, and that is what is good. And at the end of the day, even with a couple of substitutions, you could just switch that. Liverpool could go 4-3-3 to begin with, and then switch to a 4-2-3-1, and that would be absolutely fantastic, realistically as well. But a little bit talking about Liverpool's goals. Then, of course, the first goal being a penalty after Masuaku, I think that's how you pronounce it, tackled. Kicked Mo Salah in the ankle, and then obviously Mo was awarded a penalty, took it. Don't expect anything else from Mo scoring a penalty. Of course, they've got full trust in Mo. I believe he has. I believe he's missed one penalty. I think I could be wrong in that, but I think he's either missed one or he hasn't missed any penalties while taking them for Liverpool. So, it's between him and James Milner for penalties. Probably, if James Milner was on the pitch, who do you think would take it? Would it be Milner or would it be Mo Salah? For me, I think it would be Milner, but it's interesting. It is interesting because I know Milner has missed a few times for Liverpool, over the past couple of seasons, but, I don't think Mo Salah has missed it. If he hasn't missed anything, I think he's only missed once. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting. Anyway. Jeannie says, F the Tories for a good measure, F the Sun. Yeah. And then the scum. Yeah, not that. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more on that. But I don't want to really talk about politics in this show because that is, maybe we might set up a politics channel. Who knows? We might talk about it there and then. But Jeannie says, don't be so harsh on Moyes. Think all of the 3 points he gave us for the been a few. It's been a few. To be fair, it's been a few. The hello is in. Absolutely buzzing for Nat. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Nat Phillips, of course, getting game time, of course, today being man of the match as well. Superb. Absolutely superb. Superb. That's a new word. Superb. But yeah, absolutely fantastic for him. Chris says, I agree, 4-2-3-1 against low block teams. Don't think Salah missed a penalty at Liverpool. No, I don't think he has neither. Downton Abbey says, can we get that statue of Moyes back outside Anfield again? Maybe. Chris says, Milner and Salah both missed the reliables at penalties. Yeah, they are. I think Milner has missed one penalty or two penalties, but I think Liverpool have gone on to win games, either way. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, either way, there he is, Mo Salah. After he scored his penalty, for me, I think he's brilliant. And again, scoring again. And every time he did look on the ball, like Liverpool looked to be doing something, on it. And even though we are labeling this as a bad performance attackingly, even though we've just won the game as well, but he, for me, he's just unbelievable. And I don't think he'll get to 44 goals, but I think he will reach like the heavy 20s, 26, 27, 28, 29, goals this season in terms of the Premier League. I think he will do it this year, and I think he will win the Golden Boot again, because if it's not scoring penalties, he's scoring from open play. Every single game in Liverpool play right now, Mohamed Salah scores. So it is interesting as well. But yeah, so this image was obviously used for the thumbnail, as you guys can see, but they anyway, but yeah, like this was from the third goal that he did score, even though it does say 2-1 Liverpool. But that one goal, and I want to talk about the offside goal. Now, what happens is so I believe the cross comes in, Mane hits it. It hits the goalkeeper. Ogbonna then and Fabianski scrabble for the ball with Mane. Mane gets he looks to get like a slight touch on the ball, and then Ogbonna hits it even further, and Jota just slams it away to make it 2-1 Liverpool. We all thought Liverpool had won, but what happens then? VAR happening once again and trying to stop Liverpool from winning games of football yet again. And it happened again. Now, Sky Sports said this on commentary. Everyone thought it was a foul on Fabianski. And then the Premier League comes out and says it was a foul on Ogbonna. How? If you watch it, I haven't got the clips or anything to show you guys on stream, but Mane is like, I personally thought, if it's going to be anything, it's going to be a foul on Fabianski, but I don't know how it could have been a foul on Fabianski, because at the end of the day, Mane slides in first, then Fabianski goes over Mane, misses the ball completely, and then has to try and get up then to go and stop Jota from shooting it, but he can't do it in time, obviously. But for me, I want to know why that is a foul on Ogbonna. Now, the Premier League themselves have come out and said that it was a foul on Ogbonna, even though Ogbonna, like, Mane doesn't touch Ogbonna. So why is it given offside? Not given offside, sorry, given as a foul. Yeah, like, oh, it is so frustrating. Like, VAR, it's not the system. They use the system good today. They told the referee to go and have a look, but then, as Sky Sports kept on pointing out, whenever the referees go over to the monitor, they change their opinions and change, they change their minds then practically. But I personally thought that it was going to be called a foul on Fabianski. But then when Sky Sports says it's a foul on Ogbonna, what do you mean? Again, this is the system being used terribly yet again. And not the system itself. I mean, like, the players the people, sorry, that are using the system, because the system just doesn't work. And this is why we are constantly talking about VAR, and we are constantly talking about how VAR is not good for the Premier League. It is not. I believe if all 20 teams had the vote right here, right now, to get the VAR out of football in the Premier League, I believe they would do it. And I do believe they would do it. And I think more and more people are seeing that VAR is broken, and it's not. It's causing more headlines than the actual football itself. And for me, that is what it was not brought in to do. It was made to make things clearer, and it was made to, not have talking points in games. And that is what it is having. In the Champions League, it's used far better. In Bundesliga, it's used far better. In Serie A, it's used better. Why is it in the Premier League things are not going well with VAR? And it's because of the people that are using it. And I will say this now, that for me, it needs to change, and it needs to change now. For me, it needs to be out. I've kind of been a fan of VAR to begin with, and when it was all coming out and that, but now for me it needs to be gone. And thankfully, Jota scored again, and it was a fantastic goal by the work of Shaqiri, and then Jota, scoring in the left corner. That was fantastic. But it could have cost us 3 points again, and things need to change, in my opinion, anyway. But guys, let me know your thoughts anyway in the comments. Chris says, if that disallowed goal didn't go in, then it's penalty on Mane. Oh my God, seriously, I'm sick of VAR. I'll say it. VAR is run by a bunch of newborn babies crawling on all of the buttons. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. And look, it is in the system in that respect. Like, and like we said, it wasn't given as a foul on Fabianski. Genie's gone, but Ogbonna stopped Mane from getting the ball. The angle, and they didn't show the ref the correct angle. Look, like, we have all these we have all these cameras, and they use like one image or one angle, and that's it. They don't use 4 or 5 angles. They just use the one. It's so stupid. Chris says it's not a foul on either Ogbonna or Fabianski. Only foul is on Mane. I would agree. I would absolutely agree. But like I said, if the foul was going to be more on someone, it would be on Fabianski, and it wasn't. It was given as a foul on Ogbonna, even though it was the other way around, like you guys have said. So I don't know. I honestly don't know with the Premier League and that anymore. Chris says it's used better because foreign referees know football. Our refs don't. No, they don't. It's the refs. Says hello. She also says it can't be the consistency that our referees are woeful, and so is VAR. In every other leagues, it's fine because they have a higher standard of refs. Absolutely agree. That comment is 100% facts. I think the other guys as well, like Mickey and Jack, have said on their channels, that someone should, well, other referees should be brought in from different countries to manage VAR, and maybe ex-players should be brought in to use VAR as well, because some of the decisions, they're just not right. And I just think a whole refresh of refereeing needs to happen. They need better, if I say better courses, they need to know. Well, we need, like this, like Hello said, the standard from abroad. We need that standard, and we need that now, because Premier League referees are shite. They're totally shite, and I will stand by that. They are shite, and this is the reason why they're not called to World Cups, and they're not called to other things, and probably not in the European Championships as well. They won't be called upon. So yeah, it's quite funny, to be fair. But yeah, let's move away then from VAR, and that's talk about the overall game then. Of course, Liverpool winning 2-1. Jota and Shaqiri standing out alongside Nat Phillips as well. Trent looking good again. Andy Robertson looking good again. Of course, him blocking a shot, I believe, in the 80th minute to keep us in the game then, realistically. Henderson, again, fantastic performance. Gini Wijnaldum having an underrated performance. I thought he was good as well tonight. Thought he was very superb tonight. Front three, Bobby, yet again, not the best of performances. I think maybe it's time for him to maybe get a rest. Maybe that's going to be against Atlanta, and then we face Man City, and I think it's going to be normality. I think all three start. Maybe he goes 4-2-3-1 and plays Jota in with them, but time will tell with that. But for me, like we did say, this man, Diogo Jota, for me, he is undroppable right now. Excuse me. And it's going to be interesting, guys, as well. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below anyway. But if Jota was to come in, and we've talked about 4-2-3-1 a little bit in tonight's stream, in tonight's match reaction anyway, and we've talked a little bit about what does it mean if 4-2-3-1 was mentioned and all, I guess. But if 4-3-3 is staying around for Liverpool and Jota comes in, who does he go out for? Do you think he'll be a midfielder? Or do you think Bobby Firmino? Because I don't think either the two guys in the background of this photo, Mane and Mo Salah, I don't think either of them fall out of the team, in my personal opinion anyway. And I think that realistically is probably the best front three at the minute based on form. Anyway, but yeah, guys, please let me know your thoughts anyway in the comment section down below. What do we have? Chris says all the English refs are garbage, even lower leagues too. Yeah, I would agree. It's just the standard, isn't it? The standard isn't good enough, in my opinion. Jeannie says the press asked Conte about resting players. He said we have English refs in a couple of days. I wouldn't want them, to be fair. Chris says Jota in for Firmino for me. For me at the minute, I love Bobby Firmino, and I just want him to do well. But I'd have to agree, if the 4-3-3 is staying, for me, I think that he has to be benched. And I don't know what is happening with Bobby. I don't know whether or not it's because there's no fans, so he can't bounce off the energy, or not. But for the last, especially this season, I wouldn't say so much last season, but especially this season, something's wrong with Bobby Firmino, and I really want to find out what it is, because for me, on his day and when he is bang in form, he is absolutely fantastic, and probably up there with being Liverpool's best players on the pitch. So and maybe as well, if he does have a little bit of a rest, maybe that will recharge him as well. There's so many different things that could be the answer for Bobby Firmino. We have to explore them all then, realistically, and try and give Bobby his confidence back, and try and get him scoring goals and playing better and that. So yeah, for me, I think that something needs to happen anyway. But Chris says, I love Firmino too, of course, but he is out of form and he needs rest. You have to drop him. And he also says, Chris, Chris says, I think he needs rest personally. Yeah, I would agree with that in many respects as well. But yeah, fingers crossed, things can happen with Bobby Firmino anyway, and hopefully, he can have rest, of course, as well. But guys, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. Thank you to all of you that has tuned in to our match reaction show, for Liverpool's 2-1 victory over West Ham, which moves us back top of the Premier League, of course. I think that is the major point of things. Of course, if Everton lose tomorrow, then Liverpool remain top of the Premier League going into the Manchester City game. Of course, they won today against Sheffield United 1-0 as well. I believe it was Kyle Walker who scored their goal as well. So it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting what's going to happen over the next couple of days and weeks, especially with Atlanta coming back, then Man City. Then we've got international breaks, so football's going to be a little bit of a meh over the next couple of weeks. Anyway, let me read a few comments out then before we leave. Jeannie says, Firmino and Jeannie got us here. People, you never walk alone. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with this. I don't want Jeannie out. If I've said Genie out, then I don't want him out. But yeah, I want all the players to succeed. But I think there is something wrong with Bobby Firmino, and he does need a bit of rest, or something needs to happen anyway. But Batesh then says, instead of 4-2-3-1, I'd like us to play 4-3-2-1. Mo up top with Koto or Kota. Do we have a Kota? I don't know. Marley behind. I mean, maybe. Downton says, great stream. Thanks. Your absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for coming in as well. Jeannie says, evening all. You never walk alone. And Chris says, take care, stay safe, Reds. Top of the league. Liverpool top of the league. Yeah, absolutely. But if you could, do me the massive favor and please give the video a like. It's massively appreciated if you could do so. Also, as well, if you're new to the Cop Council and viewing this for the first time, then please hit that subscribe button. We're still on for the road to 400 subscribers. It is not happening yet, so if you could help me, then please please do hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to enable notifications, because YouTube hates notifications. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy tonight's stream anyway. Well, I can see Chris says Patel means Jota. That makes sense, Jota. Then that's better. But yeah, thank you to everyone that has tuned in. Hopefully hopefully all of you have a fantastic rest of your evening. And yeah, Liverpool are top of the Premier League once again, thanks to Diogo Jota. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I've been Connor from the Cop Council, and I will see you all later on. Tra Reds.